welcome to Oakville Matters. Our city calls itself a town and feels like a village if you meet people halfway. We work together to grow our harmony, safety, and prosperity. Today, we're going to highlight the Sir John Colborn Senior Center in South Oakville. And joining us is Julie Pennal, the Recreation Coordinator at Sir John A, as we call it, and Kelly Meeussen, the Recreation Assistant there. Thank you both for your service to our community. The center offers a lot of services for seniors, and you've got a wide spectrum that you work from. Let's dive into it, and let's start with Julie. What's new besides Kelly? In fact, why don't you start with Kelly?
Well, thank you, Mayor Burton. Kelly Meeussen joined us about 6 months ago. So she is probably the newest thing in this building. I've been with the town for 20 years almost, and our center has just really revived after our little break that we had that was imposed on us for everybody's safety. We are so busy providing special events, our registered programs, our drop-in programs, and just opportunities for socialization and community building within the center. We started our summer programming today, which is very exciting. All of our new programs or returning programs started with the session today and will run for the next 8 to 9 weeks. Programs today, we had some fitness, we had some art classes, we had some bridge, we had some snooker. And we're just really excited to have people back in the building. Last week was a little quieter. I think everybody was making their long weekend plans. So we're happy to see everybody back and getting ready to start their summer with us.
And Kelly, how does it feel to see a place coming back to life after, well, nearly 3 years of greatly reduced activity?
Yeah, I was quite amazed actually when I first joined the center as to the activity level and the engagement of our volunteers and our members. It's just amazing to see. The center that I used to work at was more in a rural community, so we certainly didn't have the same membership, but you know, being here and seeing the whole place vibrate with everybody moving and shaking and participating in programs, and especially the volunteers too, that sense of pride and ownership that's back in the center again. It's really nice to see.
So Council and I have seen research, and I will admit some of it came from our staff, saying that seniors who are engaged in recreational activities have better health and life outcomes, live longer and happier. And I know you guys have seen that. But one of the things that I'm fascinated by at Sir John A is the involvement of seniors in the organization of the activities. Can you speak to that?
Sure, I'll take that one, Kelly, if that's okay with you.
Sure.
One of the things we missed the most, Mayor Burton, over the course of the last 3 years was our special event programming. It's really an opportunity for our members to come together and watch and participate in the incredible effort that our volunteers, supported by our staff team, create. So last week on the 27th of June, we hosted our Strawberry Social. Unfortunately, the weather wasn't on our side, but we had 140 people committed to coming to our event. And basically, Kelly and I supported a team of about 6 or 8 volunteers who made that entire event happen. And their commitment level, their dedication to ensuring the event goes off without a hitch, everything from the decor, the decorations in the auditorium, Canada Day flags out on our property, making pound cake, whipping fresh cream, cutting Ontario berries, making coffee and lemonade, supporting our entertainment. They're an incredible team of people who want to ensure that our members, our community, Oakville at large, have opportunities that they might not otherwise have. And we couldn't do it without them. So these events would not occur if it was just Kelly and I. So we are very thankful. And the fact that they are so engaged and committed is really what makes us so special. I think we have about 175 volunteers here at the Colborn Center, and that's just the volunteer piece, but they are the lifeblood of the center. They make things happen. They support us completely and fully and ensure that we're operational and providing amazing opportunities and experiences for our community.
So are most of the volunteers also members of the center? And do you have a segment that that are future members of the center, can I call it?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say 95% of our volunteers are members and that they engage in activities here as well as giving of themselves to the center. So we have people that take their fitness classes or their educational programs, their art programs, and then they come back again during the week to give of themselves in our cafe, at our front desk, on our special event committee, on our boards and working committees. They really are very dedicated. And often once they get here to take a program, they think, oh, I could do that. I could help them with that. Or I had this in my previous life. I'd love to try that, something new. And then, yes, we definitely have some younger members. We start at 50. So our membership is 50. And it's open-ended. We do have some centenarians who are members of the centers, and definitely some of our younger members are not quite yet ready to do a weekly committed volunteer service, but they are more what we call our episodic volunteers. They'll come in and say, you know what, I want to work at your garage sale. I'll be here all day Saturday and Friday for prep. And then we won't see them again as a volunteer till the next kind of big event. And we're always recruiting for new volunteers. And that's something that I'm particularly proud of Kelly coming in as a new staff. She's been an amazing resource, and she has brought some wonderful new people into the center. So maybe she can talk a little bit about what she's done.
Yeah, actually, I just wanted to speak to some of the new volunteers if I could. We have a student who has been spending time here at the center, and she's providing technology support for our seniors. So she's kind of fallen into that role, but certainly has done an amazing job with it. So every Tuesday afternoon, we have 2 different time slots, and they're always full with a wait list. And she provides the necessary tech support for a lot of our seniors who have questions about their iPads, their iPhones, their Androids, their laptops, et cetera. And she's just been wonderful.
So when I'm a member, I'm imagining that my personal theme song is going to be Staying Alive by Fever. Because I fully buy the theory that if you stay active, you stay alive. And I gather that that's, and I know some of your members, so I believe they sing that song. We're all of a certain age. Now, how does I understand that the center gets involved outside of these activities of the center, that, or at any rate, where I'm headed is, we have this seniors working advisory group, and I think they meet there, and they're very valuable to me in council in terms of the advice they give us for general civic matters and seniors related services. Are there other ways that seniors get involved in the life of the external, of the rest of the town through Sir John A?
Absolutely. So the Seniors Working Action Group, we affectionately call them SWAG. They are a very conscientious community-based organization, and you're right, Mayor Burton, they do meet out of here. We have been meeting virtually for the last 3 years. Some of our members have experienced some difficulties getting to the center, so we are looking at meeting in person in July for the first time in 3 years. We're very excited about that. But they definitely help us to engage our community in a broader scope than perhaps us as recreation professionals might be able to do. So for instance, one of SWAG's mandates is to provide education to the community at large. And we do incredible workshops and presentations on things like frauds and scams, medical assistance in dying, the use of cannabis for older adults, over-the-counter medications. We actually have one coming up that we're looking at creating a seniors housing fair and symposium dealing with the housing insecurity that many of our older adults are facing right now with rising costs of rent and health issues, getting into long-term care and retirement. So along that vein, we do really partner with agencies in the community, like our long-term care centers, like our retirement residences, like our hearing professionals, our accessibility professionals, some of the medical professionals that we can bring some support or information to the centers for people seeking things that they might not get conventionally from their doctor's office or their family, or if they're not perhaps tech savvy and internet searching isn't for them, they may approach us and say, how do I get a walker? I need to go for a hearing test. Where do I go to do that? I'm sort of worrying about my ability to get quality food ingredients based on cost. What are some of the things that you might recommend? So we're very fortunate as a staff team to have an incredible group of people in community development who help us, as well as Kelly and I try to stay as up to date with resources in the community as we can, so that we can accurately share information for people who need certain details that we might not know.
So for a housing affordability stress situation, I hope one of the places you send people is Fulton Housing Help, because they're very, very responsive.
Absolutely. This
People
past
up-
Wednesday, oh, I'm sorry, Mayor Burton.
No, that's fine.
This past Wednesday, SWAG, they meet the fourth Wednesday of every month, and we met, and we chose to forego our regular meeting in lieu of having Halton Community Housing Corporation, HCHC, come to our meeting to discuss what's going on in our community and how SWAG can become more involved. So we talked about the wait lists for accessible housing. We talked about the new build at 263 Kerr Street. We talked about some new properties that HCHC is looking at building or are in the works. We talked about the in situ housing situation. So it was incredibly informative. And those are those partnerships that we're very proud of, because we are trying to be proactive as opposed to reactive, and giving our members and community as much information that we can, relatable and relevant to their current need.
Yeah, I know that the members of SWAG care very, very much about making sure that everybody is brought along together as our town progresses into the future. Nobody falls behind. So it must have been somewhat reassuring to hear that we have such an organization at work. I'm struck by your WOW program. Let's hear about WOW. Maybe we'll say wow when we hear about WOW.
You will, when Kelly tells you all about it.
Yeah. Well, I've actually had the privilege to be facilitating the WOW program since I started back in January. And we're now into our sort of summer programming. We currently run the WOW program every Mondays and Wednesdays at 10 a.m. And we offer different programs such as historical discussions. We do chair fitness. We have meditations. And we also have presentations from various community partners. And it might be focusing on brain health or nutrition and other topics that are quite important to our group. And what I really noticed, and what kind of hit me when I started the program here in January, or with the program, I should say, was the friendship and fellowship that was developed between a lot of the participants. And they look forward to that 10 o'clock sort of gathering on the telephone, and the ease of being able to participate from the comfort of their home. And for people that really are not able to come out to the center, or very isolated, or have some sort of issue or challenges that they're not able to come out, they're still able to engage with one another. And we have some really wonderful discussions, and I've really enjoyed the program.
So this sounds like it's Zoom without the Zoom.
Right. It's all telephone based. So we have the ability to call them, or they can call us. It's the same number and the same code each time. And it's 10 a.m. And we're a very sort of casual group, but we certainly get a lot out of it. And so do the participants. And what's really nice about this program too, is we have volunteers that work within the center that also provide programming. So for example, one of our volunteers who does historical discussions at the center provides it on the WOW call. We also have a lovely lady who does our mindful breathing part of our meditation program. So it's been wonderful to see that happen, and it continues to grow. And we're able to reach people across the country. Basically, we have somebody in Alberta that we call, which is quite interesting. So it's certainly nice to stay connected that way.
Well, it's interesting to hear that the telephone isn't dead yet.
No.
Well, the beauty of this, Mayor Burton, is that if you are not tech savvy, you perhaps don't have access, you don't want to have access, or you just are intimidated by it, everybody can pick up the phone. Whether you can dial if you can't see to dial, or you have some mobility issues be preventing you from dialing, we can get you on that call, which is what we love about it.
Yeah.
And a stat that Kelly might not know is that in the past 3 years, we've spoken to over 9,000 members of our community in Oakville, Halton, and as Kelly alluded to, Guelph, Calgary, Ottawa, Peterborough. So we feel we've had a really important impact on our community and their mental health and well-being and their connectedness and their engagement.
It's fascinating to hear that we have these webs of connection outside of the geography of the town. How does that happen?
Well, interestingly enough, many times it was a member who was here in Oakville and they've perhaps moved, relocated. I have one gal who her sister lives in Montreal, and she's talked about her favorite instructor, George, for years and how she wishes she could participate because she knows she would love it, but she lives in Ottawa. So Christine said, join us on our calls. So we were getting her sister, actually not Ottawa, Montreal, and she was calling us from Montreal to be a part of George's historical travel discussions. And it was just a wonderful connection, and they felt very close, as well as then that sort of engagement and education and fun and friendship she got from our program.
Well, it's always nice to knit families together, and I like the other angle where people move and they decide they miss us.
Yes.
That's right.
So without naming names or identifying anybody, do you have any examples of people who have really benefited from your programs? I'd like to try to motivate people to join in. And if they're listening to us, hopefully they're getting the idea. Maybe I'd like to join. What's happening?
Well, I can certainly share something that happened last week. A lady came into my office, and she's just a firecracker. She is so engaged, happy, positive. She does a lot at the center. She volunteers, she participates, and she looked a little serious. And I said, are you okay? And she said, I am okay. I'm here because I have to tell you something, and it's important. And she said, I'm probably going to get teary. And I said, oh goodness. I said, I hope everything is okay. She said, it is okay. I want you to know that about 5 years ago, when I came in here, I had just lost my husband, and I was very sad. And I walked to the door, and you met me and greeted me, and we chatted. You got me involved in a program. And a few weeks later, you said to me, why don't you join us in our cafe? And she said, it was the last thing I wanted to do. I did not feel capable, comfortable, interested, ready. She said, but you said something to me that just made it okay. You said, just come and try it. If you don't like it, you don't have to come back. And she said, her exact words were, you saved my life. You made my life meaningful again after the loss of my husband. I was very teary. She was very teary. And I said, so why are you telling me this 5 years later? And she said, because I've always thought of you as a little angel on my shoulder, getting me involved and getting me back in our community and back in the world. And she said, I don't think you know the impact that you had. And I said, well, that wasn't me. That was all you. You were the brave one. You walked through the door and you said yes. So I said that I believe the credit is all in you because you made that choice. And I felt incredibly blessed to be a part of her life in that moment. And those kinds of stories we hear often.
Mhm.
Kelly, being a little newer, may not have as many of those stories just yet. But we hear these genuine, heartfelt thank yous on a daily basis. Thank you for providing these programs. Thank you for having these special events. I had a marvelous time. Today was my first day out in a week. I haven't seen anybody. I had such fun and joy, and I danced and I met friends. I don't know, Kelly, do you have anything that comes to mind specifically?
Well, our most recent, before the Strawberry Social was our volunteer appreciation event, and that was just incredible. In fact, I had to kind of leave the room a couple of times when Julie was doing her speech because people were so emotional and so engaged and appreciative. And we got so many hugs at the end of the day. I was forgetting who I was hugging, but it was amazing just to see all these people come together. And they're like, yes, we're back. We're in person. We can do this again. And we love this connection. And it gives people a sense of purpose. They come to this center because they can see their peers, they can learn, they can develop, they can continue to grow. And that's such an essential part of the center.
Yeah, you reminded me of something that the imam said, I attended an Eid celebration last week, and the imam gave a message where he said that giving joy brings joy to the
Mhm.
giver. And it sounds like that happened to both of you. So it's fascinating to see a sermon turn into reality only a week later, or to hear a story that turns it into reality.
Yeah.
But now we're going to grow, our town is, and we've probably doubled our population 21 times in the last couple hundred years. What, how much capacity have we got in Sir John A? When are we going to need a bigger boat?
Well, according to the gentlemen and the ladies that frequent the snooker room, they're ready for more tables right now.
Yeah.
It is a conversation, and we actually have been fortunate enough to be able to expand our programming to some evenings and some weekends. And while Sir John Colborn is the current only standalone senior center in Oakville, we have additional senior centers as part of our community centers. So we're very fortunate that we have 5 locations that people can enjoy with one single membership. So in terms of growth, I know here at Colborn, we have room for more people. I say that carefully. Our programs are often very full, but when we see that there are wait lists and that there are growing needs for more programs, we are very quick and responsive to those needs, hoping to be able to add more participants or add a second class. We are using the beautiful grounds that we have here. We're so fortunate to be in this absolutely gorgeous park. So we use our outdoor programming as well. So we have sometimes our Tai Chi class will host out in our grassland. And we have our beautiful patio where we have things like our strawberry social and our volunteer appreciation. And then we're constantly meeting the needs of the community when they come in and say, can we have this program? And if it fits into our scheduling and it fits into our programming mandate, we are very quick to say, how can we make this work? So in terms of space, I would always say we could grow for sure. We'd love to go up if that's possible. And if not, then we do our very best to make room wherever we can.
Well, it sounds like you've been making room in the clock, so to speak, as well as on the grounds.
Absolutely.
And, you know, cities are supposed to, the municipal act says that we are required to be, quote, efficient and effective. And so it's bound to make people feel good to hear that you're being efficient and effective. I'm wondering what has been the effect of our free transit, our new free transit program? Has that increased people's ability to get to Sir John
I would say definitely from our friends at 271 Kerr Street in the John Rhodes building. Previously, they would, for the most part, frequent our Trafalgar Park Older Adult Center simply due to proximity. But I think now that the free transit has been instituted for our seniors, which is an amazing initiative, and we thank Oakville for that, the ability to get here seems perhaps more in reach. It's not any closer than it was before May 1st, but perhaps it's just a little bit more appealing if income or bus fare was an issue. And I definitely know that we have helped some of our members become caravan users, people that previously weren't aware of that service. And the fact that it is also included in the free transportation has been a huge burden lifter for some of our community members who are living on a tight budget. And we are seeing new users come every day. And I had an email today from somebody at that 271 Kerr Street residence who said, I didn't know that the bus went from here to Oakville Place, not Oakville Place, Hopedale Mall. And then from Hopedale Mall down third line, right across from the center. And she said, I'm very excited because that means it's going to perhaps open doors to come to your center. I was thrilled to hear that. So I definitely see that initiative working in our favor and in the favor of our members.
Well, you know, when you were telling the story about the lady who gave you the very kind remarks about saving her life with the change to her social activities that you opened the door for, after the free transit had been going for a month, I got a similar letter from from a lady saying that I wasn't credited with saving her life, but she said that it had changed her life and made it much more full and exciting and interesting. So I was similarly charmed by that message. I guess everybody knows that it's more fun to be complimented or thanked than to be otherwise treated.
Well, we're very fortunate down here. Our members are incredibly generous with their praise and thanks.
So in the couple of minutes we have left, there's one more thing that's always on my mind, and that's making sure that our services embrace our growing diversity of cultures and ethnic backgrounds. And so I'm curious to know how you're dealing with that, and if the I mean we're something like 49% immigrants now, and how is that playing out at Sir John A?
Kelly, would you like to start? I know you have a few initiatives that you've brought on board.
Yeah, so I know that, for example, we have some participants who maybe have a significant other who have maybe not been coming to the center for various reasons. And we've actually introduced a program called a Brain Health, and it's brain fitness basically. And it's currently being run at our QEP location. And it engages people that do have some mild cognitive impairment, and it's providing an outing for people who require that support, and also some games to help them sort of stimulate their mind and to exercise their brain. And it's certainly giving an awful lot of support to their significant others who either volunteer or participate in programs here, and they feel a sense of inclusion. We also have a South Asian group, and that will be starting in September. So we're looking forward to seeing that. And on top of that, we offer various language programs and also our historical discussions that involve that as well. So it's certainly open to all ranges.
Well, thank you very much for the time you've given us today. And thank you for watching. I hope that you'll join us again next time on Oakville Matters here on your TV.